Hi everybody, this is part 2 of my long drawn out ghost story, the one that lasted a year. So this part's about when my sister was high risk and we had to move her downstairs into the dining room. We moved everything, and I moved upstairs to her old room, and it was like I said, connected to my niece's room, and that way I could keep an eye on her. She was kind of timid like that, didn't want to be alone. One night I'm laying on the pallet in the floor where I slept, and I'm looking at a magazine. It's really late. It's like maybe 2 in the morning, and I heard a noise in my niece's room, and I looked over. The door was open, and I didn't see anything, but I noticed it was darker in there, and I thought, oh, her nightlight's out. So I went in there, and right when you walk in the room, the plug for the nightlight, the outlet, is right beside the door, and it was down below. It had fallen into a little stack of dolls she had right there. So I picked it up and I plugged it back in, and it kind of just hung there, but it was in. So I went back to my bed, start looking at my magazine again. Happened again, probably about not even 2 minutes. And I was just like, oh, frustration. I figured because of the old outlets and how they won't, they're not made for polarized plugs, you know, they don't really hold the plugs very well. So I went back in there, picked it up, same spot, squeezed the prongs together, and when I pushed it in, it held real good. Same spot, down with her dolls. And then I went back, laid down. It wasn't even a full minute later, I heard an awful noise in there. It was just like loud, really loud, and like a thump. And I noticed the light was out again. And that time I was a little concerned because I had just plugged it in and it was nice and tight. But I went in there anyway, and I looked down, and I'm looking to plug it. I didn't even want to walk all the way into the room. I just was like gonna reach around the corner and plug it back in. I couldn't find it. I moved her dolls. I just like disheveled her dolls, and I couldn't find it. I went back to bed. To hell with the light. It can stay out. So I took a little ginger jar lamp when I finally went to sleep, and I sat it right inside of her doorway, plugged in on my side, and I covered it with something real lightly so it wasn't too bright for her. And that was her nightlight for the night. The next day, I hadn't really forgot about it, but I got up, went to the bathroom, decided, oh yeah, the light. So I went in there and I started looking in the light. Can't find the nightlight. That evening I was helping her get ready for bed and putting her shoes up and everything, and she kept her shoes on the opposite wall by the window and right beside her bed, like in a little line. So I went over there to set her shoes down. Nightlight is across the room in one of her shoes. It had like gone from one side of the room to the other side of the room and was down inside of one of her shoes in her little row. So kind of creepy.